is 2000. A milestone moment for a Pittsburgh icon.
Malkin dusts it off. Right in front. Another chance. Backhand score! It's Brian Rust with the goal. Rarefied air to Hall of Fame career. 1,200 points for Evgeny Malkin.
2nd and 9. Pickett lines up a deep ball. Separation. Touchdown. George Pickens.
Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio, right in the Municipal Building, 5100 West Library Avenue. You all know where it is in Bethel Park, and the others just Google it. I gave you the address. So thank you for watching us on Comcast 21 in Bethel Park. That's only on Comcast. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, and all the way from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, and the greater Pittsburgh area. We appreciate you watching this. For all of you on Facebook, I think, let me see if I got this set up here. We had a little craziness. Hopefully you guys got to watch the lacrosse senior rec night. Hope that was a good game. I heard Bethel Park go Blackhawks. That was good. I can't get that. It's not up there, but we've been doing this on Facebook. We appreciate all the Facebook Live comments. We try to interact with you, and I appreciate it. I checked the other day, 7,291 likes. That's a brand new high for Pittsburgh Sportsline. I guess this old dog learned a few tricks. So tell your friends to like our page, a couple more. I'm looking for one more, just one more tonight. So go like that. Then we're at 244 subscribers on YouTube, Pittsburgh Sportsline channel. So all of you on there, we appreciate it. Just looking for one more follower there. We've been doing this for a while, and we keep sending it out the Pittsburgh Sportsline channel and Pittsburgh Sportsline Facebook. So thank you very much. I'm known as Al Levine, the Talking Machine, Smoking Jim Frazier, Michael Ragin' Rohde, and a special guest appearance by Stephen Fisher, one of the best camera people we had in the studio and running the control room.
My accountant.
Smoking Jim, we got to
Not even
disclaim.
close.
We got to disclaim right off the bat. Steve works for a nonprofit company. He said he can't take anybody that doesn't have a government name and doesn't file taxes. So when Smoking Jim talks about he's my best friend, but how can you say it's not your government name, Smoking Jim Frazier, and want an accountant to do your taxes? I say he doesn't earn any money.
Smoking Jim, I have to ask of you, if you're telling me that you need to do your tax returns, do you know what a 1040 even is?
I just need you to find me some money, bro.
Get out of here, man.
Well, let me explain something. When you have somebody do your taxes, it's not you. You sign a form and you pay them, so they're responsible
Can he
for
laundry?
doing it.
Can he laundry?
You do your laundry and you get new clothes all the time. Look at, he got pirate gear. He didn't wash last month's clothes. And we're at the middle of the month, so he got a month and a half of clothes. Wait a second. Steve Fisher's our man. He's filling in. A couple people asked, does he know sports? That's why he came here from Baldwin. He knows their teams aren't too good, and they had the mercy rule
What are you
today
putting me
with
on the spot
lacrosse.
for? What the heck was that all about?
Well, you're a smart guy, and you're on Pittsburgh Sportsline. He does live in Baldwin, so the disclaimer, he loves Baldwin Whitehall.
Yes, I'm a true Highlander. First and foremost, class of 2017, what's going on?
And before we do our promos, we have a birthday cookie cake. I always get one for all the people that work for me. And Diane Rohde, Marco's mother, got a nice, oh man, I got to cut this one up.
Did you cut his name out?
No, it wasn't in there.
Okay.
No name.
Marco, can you come out for a piece of cake?
Marco.
Marco.
Make sure
Come on out,
Chance
buddy.
gets
Come
a
on
piece.
out here,
Happy
man.
birthday, Marco!
I know your mother doesn't like cake, but I'll give you the first slice of cake. This is fresh.
Marco, show everybody your turnaround.
You got to turn around.
Yes,
right this
sir.
way.
Wait,
This way.
No, put your back to the camera.
Back to the camera, that
this
one.
way. No, go back
No,
there.
just stand in front of me. Stand in
Okay,
front
stand
of me.
right
I'll
here.
give you the cake.
Now face this way.
The
There you
face
go.
us.
Yeah, turn to the
Russell
camera
Wilson
again so we
jersey.
can see the cake. And then Wilson, one more time.
Turn around.
Look at that.
Pittsburgh
Look at that.
Sports Line
Sure.
There you
First.
go.
On his birthday, he's wearing that black and gold Gateway
Chance, come
Gator.
up and get a piece of cake. Chance.
Thanks, man.
So
You can come up. Get off the
if you
camera.
don't mind, while you're cutting that cake, I'll tell a quick story. So when Marco first started watching sports, when he was, I don't even know, 10, 12, whatever, Russell Wilson played for the Seahawks. I still don't know why, but Marco's favorite all-time player is Russell Wilson.
Are
Just
you
absolutely.
serious?
His first ever
Wow.
Steeler game was against the Seahawks.
you can have it.
Went to see Russell Wilson, and he
give
just
us the
loves
chance.
Russell Wilson.
Wow,
so
I didn't know that.
lo and behold, Russell Wilson is now a Steeler. So I said, well, I got to get him a Russell Wilson jersey, right?
It's going get it autographed because
So
they're going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Great story. This cake is so fresh. I'm butchering it up for Smoking Jim.
All right.
Mike, do you want a slice?
No, thank you. I'm fine.
All right,
Thank
I
you,
thought
sir.
you weren't, but I'm going to get a slice. Johnny, do you want a slice? No, thank you. Good. This is more for me. And oh man, this is unbelievable.
That is some good.
It's very fresh. Really
That's
good.
good cake. That's good
Delicious.
cake.
Thanks, Diane
Cookie.
Rhodey, mother of Marco. You came through. Please start those promos right now.
Alan Levine, the Talking Machine, presents Coliseum Combat Zone Pro and Amateur Fights at the All-American Fieldhouse in Monroeville on Saturday, June 29th. Contact Al Levine if you'd like to participate in these fights or if you'd like to receive spectator tickets. A donation to the National Kidney Foundation will be made at all Coliseum Combat Zone events.
Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Strikers. I worked there for 36 years. My former union, CWA PPMWS 14842, Pittsburgh Local Mailers Union number 22, is on strike. Even though health care benefits were secured for workers by the union, Post-Gazette management cut them out without the union's approval and still expected workers to show up without any coverage. Please cancel your Post-Gazette subscriptions online or in print. Pittsburgh Sportsline supports the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Union Strikers. Frank Fanera, owner of Olive Oil's Pizzeria and the Hillcrest Shopping Center on Route 88. Call them at 412-831-1900. Every Tuesday night, Olive Oil's Pizzeria provides the host and the amazing volunteer crew with an XL pepperoni pizza and a full steak hoagie. They are delicious. Olive Oils is proud to support Pittsburgh Sportsline and the volunteers at BPTV. Stay Joey strong. Joey Fabus died at 8 years old of brain cancer known as DIPG. Since then, the family has come together with community members to create the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit. Since being founded, they've raised over $100,000. Go to jfccf.org to learn more about DIPG, to help spread awareness, and to see how else you can support and donate towards the fight against this dreaded brain cancer. Always Be Smiling, a 501c3 designed to help children and families in need of kidney transplants. The B stands for Bennett, whose memory is embedded in this organization by his parents, Kristen and Dean. Despite the challenges he faced in his 16 and a half years of life, Bennett always had a smile on his face and spread kindness to everyone he could. Now, Always Be Smiling wants to pass on that kindness. Go to alwaysbesmiling.org to learn more and see how you can support or donate to this organization. The Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. I'm Al Levine, trustee on the board of this great organization. The BPCF focuses on raising money to provide scholarships, grants, endowments, and more. Grant requests are available online from $100 to $5,000. You can also attend fundraisers or donate. Go to bpcf.org to get more information and to stay up to date on upcoming events. The Bethel Park Community Foundation, focusing community resources, building for the future. The Bethel Park Historical Society is a 501c3 that serves Bethel Park. The Historical Society operates out of the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, located at 2600 South Park Road. Look for the red and white trolley right out front. Reginald's Coffee is inside, and I've heard it's the best coffee around. To visit this great historical venue, email historicalsocietybp@gmail.com. Hey, thanks for watching our promos. We appreciate it. Can you get a close-up chance of Chip Hayner and his wife Stephanie at the Buccos game?
They got a foot-long hot dog?
I don't see it, but they're at the game. There we go. Shout out to Chip and Stephanie. Another first on BPTV. We got Marco's birthday. That cake was delicious. All right, we always start our show with what's on your mind. Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Coming
you
at you.
got to see Levine. I caught that like Luke McCaffrey. Welcome to the week of the G. The Pittsburgh Steelers draft, I'll say it for the last time, will be a bust if they don't get the best chess piece on the board, which is Cooper DeJean. You can move him around like the chess knight. Al Levine, the talking machine. Speaking of the Steelers, they're stuck on 6 Lombardis. One more is the stairway to 7. And the Pirates were stuck on 6 losses in a row. Nobody wants a stairway to 7. That's what I'm saying.
No, they won.
They could one more loss. They could have got 7. What is it? When nobody in Pittsburgh want to get that magical 7.
I already got one disclaimer on you. And the second one is, he's one of the nicest guys in media.
You see how I'm dressed? I got an Andrew McCutchen jersey.
He's an anti-pirate.
He's on the pace for 315 home runs in his career at 40.
He's an anti-pirate, and he's Mr. Negative. He can't help himself. He's a lawyer, and shout out to my friends that are lawyers, but you only ask questions that you know the answer.
And here's the last one. Al Levine,
all right, let's move on.
I'll wrap it up with this. I just finished the interview with Tim Worley, former Pittsburgh Steelers, played and was drafted in the greatest draft of all time in NFL history, the 1989 draft.
What about 74, 6 Hall of Famers? He's out of control,
I'm saying
people.
The draft
He's out of control.
not with one team. The 89 draft had
Aikman,
Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders, Hall of Famers after Hall of Fame. I'm talking about the entire draft.
Are you talking about a guy who's in the Hall of Fame, never made one tackle?
Who's that?
You said Deion Sanders.
Oh, yeah. But here, hey, Al Levine, the talking machine.
First time this year.
There's 2 things that Tim Worley said that kind of surprised me. 3 things. One, he said his best friend.
Well, was it 2 or 3?
His best friend was Bubby Brister, number 1. Number 2, Al Levine, the talking machine. He said he just couldn't get used to Joe Walton's offense. He said he always played in the eye. He had to play with his, hand in the dirt and trap blocking and trap running and this and that. That messed him up. And number 3, he told me that, 4 things. He said he's dating a girl from Pittsburgh.
It's 2, then it's 3, now
and
it's
here's
3,
the last one, Al Levine, the talking machine.
I can't keep up.
He said that he is now an evangelist. Amen. Look at God. Tim Worley now is an evangelist. And that's what's on my mind. Al Levine, the talking machine.
He's not being funny because he's one of the few guys today that prays before every meal. And then I don't know what he believes after that.
But everybody think, what is the best Well, we already know 89 was the best draft ever. Try to think of the second or third best draft
for the Steelers
in NFL history. No, I'm talking about for the league. We're talking about for the league.
No, I'm a Steeler fan.
But I'm talking about for the league.
I'm Steelers. I bleed
but
black
I'm
and gold.
The league.
Well, you're talking out of your hat right now.
Although
you're not
Tony
a Pirate
Manders
fan.
was the best player in that
All right, I
draft.
agree to disagree that I'll never agree with you on that 74
Think
Steeler
about
draft.
it. Think about it.
I stick
What
with
happened?
Chuck Noll.
What happened to their third round draft or their third pick in that draft?
70, they didn't have one.
That's the
Steelers didn't
answer
have
I
one.
needed.
Yeah.
Why though?
Huh? I don't know.
See, nobody knows.
How come?
I'm going to call Joe Gordon. My dad was friends with him.
Get outta
You know
here.
who Joe Gordon was.
Yeah, is he still living?
He grew up with my dad. They just put him in the Hall of Fame 2 years ago.
Yeah, he should have been in. Joe Gordon was a legend. Is he still living?
He's my friend. Let's go see him. See, I knew I could stop him, folks. All right, we're going to go. We're going to go. What's on your mind, Mike Rohde?
Thank you.
Yeah,
So
we're up on Facebook, but we're not getting anybody tuning in. So I think they got distracted.
yeah.
Here we go.
Anyway, so what a difference 2 weeks makes since this your last time when Pirates. I think we're like undefeated, maybe 10-2. We went to the game. I took basically our whole production crew, Chance, Marco, and Michael, and Chance's
it's
dad. We
on
all went to the
Facebook.
Pirate game on Sunday,
was
and
boxing.
I swear I've never seen this. For the Pirates, their pitcher struck out the side.
Okay.
Okay, struck out the side.
Jaron Jones.
Didn't give up any runs,
Okay.
and Boston still scored a run
No.
because of a throwing error, a catcher's interference, and then O'Neal Cruz dropping that.
No.
I don't think I've ever seen it. I was waiting for Walter Matthau to run out of the dugout. I was waiting for an ad for Chico's bail bonds up on the board. I made a date of myself. Did I date myself with those references? Did anybody get them?
I got it.
Bad News Bears.
Well, I had it in Greentree and have a lot of great friends from Greentree. But in Pony League, we only had 11 or 12 players. I pitched 15 out of 17 games that year, which was rare.
Wow.
And I played on a team, and I had a no-hitter in the third inning. I was losing 4-0. I was praying that they would hit me because they scored on errors and walks.
Wow.
I ended up, somebody got a hit off me in the 5th inning, and that was one of the great things because back then they had something called newspapers, and they put in there with Little League scores. I have 2 of them I saved in my Bible. I'll have to bring them in. When I pitched no-hitters in '68, I had 2 of them. And I didn't want to be in there for my 3rd no-hitter losing a game. So it actually struck me right in the heart when you said that.
I wasn't pitching against aluminum bats.
We had what was called wood.
There you go.
Kids love me. Wood.
Anyway, what
Yeah,
the
but
Pirates?
that's a great point. I love
Yeah,
it.
what they desperately need,
Carry
and I
on.
mentioned.
Sorry for
no,
that
no
interruption.
worries. What I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and I strongly still believe more than ever, is they need a strong veteran presence.
Yes, sir.
I'm not talking about Rowdy Tellez. Anybody who ever played a year in the Mexican League, I don't consider a strong influence. And Andrew McCutchen. Maybe at one time, but everybody knows he's there to sell jerseys. God bless him. I love him to death. But, they're lacking because O'Neal Cruz, what I'm seeing out of this guy is a guy with all the talent in the world.
Yes, sir.
But he's slow motion half the time. I think he thinks that he's so talented, the game is just going to slow down and catch up to him. And he just like, no problem. I just do my thing. It's not that big a deal. I'll be able to play my game. I'm sensing that with him. I sensed the same thing in Plexico Burris years ago.
Yes, you did.
A
yeah.
guy who just went, kind of nonchalant all over the field. And they really, really need that strong veteran presence, and they wouldn't spend for it. And I said, a couple weeks ago, I don't even remember when it was, that's what they desperately needed to kind of bring it all together. It's no one's fault that that they don't have that. You can't teach that. Guys develop that or they don't, right? I just don't see that on the Pirates. I know Tellez tried to be a leader when he jumped in front of, our closer there, Bednar, and tried to deflect it. I'm sorry, that was that was worse. He made things worse, if you ask me. Bednar didn't need that.
Right.
And that's not what I'm talking about. Jump in front of the media. I'm talking about a guy, the Cam Haywood.
Well, here,
guy.
I'll explain
the
it.
guy who's like in
How about
charge
they
of
do the
things.
right thing? as a player, they do the right thing and lead by example, plus tell them.
Yeah, well, some guys, but what I can't think of a better example of a team that needs that strong, super strong veteran presence, a been there, done that person, you know, who's either in their prime, maybe not, maybe down on their prime a little bit. Again, a Cam Hayward kind of guy.
Yeah.
A kind of like, I don't want to make that guy angry.
Well,
I don't want to make that guy angry. But O'Neal Cruz doesn't fear anybody on the team.
Hasn't been one of the best leaders until the last couple years.
Well, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand.
You know what I mean. It's that presence.
Here's the example I'd give you, Troy Polamalu.
There you go. I would not put Ben Roethlisberger in that category. Not everybody has that kind of aura about them.
Well,
but a guy that players, a guy like O'Neal Cruz is not going to jog down to first base on a ground ball because he knows this. He's going to get in trouble.
Lambert.
He's like, forget we're making the manager angry. You know, I don't want to make this leader angry. And the Pirates are missing that. And I think they've got talent, and that's what they desperately need. They don't have that, and they can afford it. I brought my laptop. I won't bore you with the numbers.
No, pull them up.
I figured.
Pull them up.
I figured.
Sportsline
first. I came up with a bunch of numbers. I figure they're left with about $120 million left over. I know this firsthand because to get two things of chicken nuggets, a beer and 2 waters cost me $71 on Sunday.
Are you serious?
I don't mind spending it, but you know what? They got a lot of money.
Wow.
Spend some of that money on that veteran, and that's what I'm asking. I don't begrudge somebody being a billionaire. More power to you. I don't want your money. I'll give you if you give a good product. But they make a lot of money, and I think they should invest that back into the team. Just for that one player, I think it's desperately needed. That's just me.
I got a question.
I know. I just wanted to give you a high five anyway.
He's right next to you, so talk to Mike.
This is something I think everybody wants. I know Chance wants it, and Mike and
you didn't
Marco.
even talk to Chance. Chance is out of it. He's our cameraman. Watch the smoke.
Real quickly.
Watch his smoke.
Can you tell the world, the internet all around the world, and BPTV fans, El Lavina Talking Machine fans, when's the first time you heard of Gateway?
Oh, this is back in 1986 when they beat North Hills, when North Hills was #1 ranked in the country.
Mark the tape!
Because one of my buddies went to North Hills and was bragging about, we're undefeated, we're the greatest, and then they lost in the championship. We were talking about it off the air. I said, that's the first time I ever heard of Gateway, because I'm from way up north.
Hey, I heard it over the years, and it was all derogatory. Everything I heard about Gateway, I didn't want to know who they were. It was when my dad was refereeing basketball in the 70s. So when I finally met somebody from Gateway, I had to count my fingers after I shook Smoking Jim's hand, but I never told him that till tonight. That's what I was told to watch. So how could that be the reputation from mid-70s, late 70s? Just saying.
Well, this was mid-80s.
Okay, well, I got you beat. I'm older. and we're best friends, so Smoking Jim, you asked, and I told you the truth. Tony from Chick-fil-A said, Smoking Jim phone case looks like a kid's toy. Also, he never picked up a baseball, so why wear the gear? We don't know if we're on Facebook. Ralph Williams just said we're not. So we don't know if you're watching us. Anybody that wants to sound off and say they're on Facebook, we appreciate you. But we're having some technological difficulties. We've had it at the studio for the last month. Sometimes we're on Facebook, sometimes we're not. Sometimes it went for a week. Now it went on our show. You got to see lacrosse, but not Pittsburgh Sportsline. So we'll see what goes on with there. Now we got Steve Fisher filling in, our great new co-host for tonight. He knows sports. He's from Baldwin Whitehall, great community. Sorry what I talked about their sports teams, but just check out their records in general. Oh, Steve Fisher.
Nice save.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know I'm pretty tactful. I was on A-tack. Now I'm just tactful. So, Steve Fisher, what's on your mind?
Well, thank you very much, Talking Machine. Hello, everyone. The MVP is back here in the studio for the first time in about a couple of months.
Yes, sir.
And being on taxes and accounting, I could say numbers are all over the place right now. But you know what is true about the numbers right now? Special deals and all kinds of things with college. As you may know, I am an MBA student at Point Park University. Go Pioneers.
Congratulations, congratulations.
And for the most part, a lot of college teams are going into slumber right now, knowing that their seasons are over. A lot of kids are graduating.
Slumber?
As in, like, they're going into spring or to summer break. Oh. They're going into internships and other things.
Explain how groundhogs, they sleep through the winter, they hibernate. That's sort of like what Smokin' Jim does.
You guys are talking white.
What's next? Am I going to say Fortnite?
Wait, disclaimer. I got to do it because Smokin' Jim doesn't everything that he says does not reflect what we say or believe. And BPTV, Pittsburgh Sportsline, Bethel Park, he has to answer for everything he says against all of our rules and stuff. And the sad part is he graduated, so he says, at Gateway. We don't know what year. We don't know if he got a diploma because he's asked us, do you have a diploma? And I go, yeah, everybody got one. So he's questionable on that.
He talks like a brother. We're basically talking like crackers.
All right, Steve, carry on. Thank you for that.
No problem. So like I'm saying here, college kids are right now going into summer break. A lot of people are practicing going into new opportunities that are ahead of them. As we just saw, Caitlin Clark in the WNBA just got a big Nike deal in a multi-billion, or multi-millions in this case.
20 million.
Exactly, my friend. And what does that mean for a lot of sports going ahead from those that are coming out of college? Well, as we saw, the WNBA and the NCAA women's teams have basically had more viewership in the past year in comparison to the men's team. And of course, many schools are changing to the fact of the new excitement that's been going on.
The wave that's happening.
Exactly. As I've just saw with Point Park, my school, we just went from being in the we went up to the NCAA now that we're going into the Mountain 2 division.
Wow, congrats. That's because of the MVPs rubbing off on them.
Well, don't take my word for it because I'm just the guy on the sidelines watching the teams. But, of course, changes is always happening as I am a data person. And, of course, that fact is when new ideas are coming out with new teams, new players, and new exciting things that are happening, the old conservative idea of original teams that we've saw in the past are not becoming that relevant anymore. So where do we go from here? New things sell the most. And as we saw with Caitlin Clark going on from Iowa to Indiana now, correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
That there is telling us that a lot of people are going to watch some new teams out there that are really making an impact for themselves. And it's not just because they're flashing new shoes or they're showing off their jerseys to pretty much sell a big buck here. It's also just because people want to see what in the community is brand new to them and to see change happen. And of course, as I've saw with Point Park making it to the leagues this year, to the NCAA from the original junior leagues, and now with other teams making themselves more relevant in today's world, data does not lie. And I'll tell you, Smokin' Jim, as an accountant and tax person, I will tell you the numbers will never lie to you, unless it's probably your tax return stuff. So all I can say is to Caitlin Clark and to the rest of the WNBA women out there who are working their hardest in the drafts, congratulations on the picks and making it into the big leagues. Just keep showing what other guys might not be able to do because you guys do it far better than what they can do. And that's what's on my mind.
Thank you, Steve.
I got one question, Fish.
No, I got to update him first.
Okay.
On the Fever that Caitlin Collins is on, they had a certain amount of jerseys. They sold them out in one day, and they don't get them into August because some of them think like small-minded Smokin' Jim. They didn't think that they could sell more, so now they can't get more jerseys until after August. So when you stay small-minded like him, we'll stay with you.
Hey, what are you saying? By August, everybody will forget about the whole thing?
No, they can't get the orders in.
Hey, we might have found our new agent, but one question about Point Park. Is the basketball team still play their basketball games at the Salvation Army, or y'all got a gym now?
We are all at the CCAC gym now.
Okay.
We ain't no Salvation Army. Where are you getting that from, brother?
I didn't know.
Hold it.
I didn't know.
Hold it.
I was just a guess.
Smokin' Jim's
you got there's a CCAC gym.
No,
because our gym's tiny, man.
Smokin' Jim's one step away from being kicked off the show. His mic's going to be
You ever
shut
see
down.
his elevation? I played
Yes.
a lot of basketball here.
Well, look at your head. You ran into those walls. I know the gym. He hit his head on the wall. And that's the last disclaimer. Marco and Michael shut his mic off on his next rude comment.
Hey, Smoking Jim, to counteract of what
We
you
have
just,
some decorum here.
what I just counteract from you talking about the Salvation Army with your Tylenol AM PM pill of a phone case over there, I'll tell you right now.
That was good.
My good pal and good friend of the show, Ty Polk, and I were at the big River conference game for the Point Park Pioneers men's basketball team. And
Black man who like hockey.
there's no problem with
mute,
that.
mute Smoking Jim's mic. From now on, we're done with smoking. So you have my permission to mute his mic.
Come on.
We don't need to put up with that.
We won the conference, although we didn't make it to the championships all the way because, unfortunately, they put up against the big team that was there. I will say the guys themselves have really worked their butts off just to get to that big place.
Congratulations.
So to Ty Polk, hope you're watching the show, man. It's good to see you again at the
I
game.
asked him to be on. He's busy.
Well, he's got a lot of work to do,
I know.
man.
He's been on our show a couple times, and I have an outstanding invite to him. And so far, he said thanks. I told him Smoking Jim and my son Drew love him. He said, tell him I thank you. And you got another fan with Steve filling in today. The MVP is here.
Two pioneers being a part of the show.
No, thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. Peggy and Nick Rohde, happy birthday, Marco, on Messenger to Pittsburgh Sportsline. They can't hear us, but they did say something. I just said, hi, tech issues. And Nick Callis put up something about Pittsburgh Sportsline. Here's what he said. So if we're on YouTube and on TV, we are experiencing technical difficulties with our Facebook live stream at the moment. If you wish to watch the show live, please search us on YouTube. Otherwise, stand by for a live rerun on Facebook right here around 8 o'clock. So Nick will be making an appearance and make sure we're up. I also said we are on YouTube channel now. So you could go there now. What's on my mind? I got to think about this for a minute. What the heck with sports? Let's see, Penguins are out of it. Buccos had a 6-game losing streak. Somebody named Jared Jones struck out 8, had 8 innings, and they won the game. I'm like, wow, we got a good pitcher. Then I looked at their record, and I put it on Pittsburgh Sportsline, and it's 12-1. So we're just above 500, 522. And I thought, what happened to that quick start? Then I remembered back, not to be a naysayer. People said I was very negative on the Pirates last year. Mm-hmm. Well, I said I watched more games when they were 20-8 than I did in the last 3 years. Now I've watched less games than I watched last year because of their play. And my first question to everybody that's a Pirate fan that's drinking the Kool-Aid, name me the 5 starting pitchers. They couldn't when we started the season. They can't now. And that's my main question. I'm not a naysayer that, like when the Steelers need a center, I have personal appearance that I was a center for 4 years. So I know about that. I pitched from the age of 12 and had great success because guess what? I worked hard at becoming a starting pitcher. I practiced 5 days a week. Now they got Skeens can't pitch more than 2 or 3 innings or whatever. And you need all these, you have to pull Jared Jones out when he had 60 pitches. I mean, I'm shocked by that. Sometimes in 3 innings I had 60 pitches. And we only could play 6 innings. So I'm thinking, what do we do from the 60s to the 20s? I mean, this is amazing. And why is everybody, we talked about it, Tommy John surgery, and about the analytics and the spin ratio. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what a spin ratio was. I just threw as hard as I could trying to throw it through the wall. And I had great success striking out people, no hitters and everything else. I'll bring in my clippings that show that. But it's changed. The game has changed. And I know being older like I am, 25-year-old Steve Fisher gave us opinion, which I'm in agreement with him. At almost 68, Caitlin Clark, one of 2.4 million people watching the WNBA draft ever.
That's 4 times than what the original last record
We could go
viewership
on
was.
and on. But so I'm willing to change. But what I can't change is my belief in being a disgruntled and frustrated Pirate fan since 1979 with a little blip in the 90s. So I'm from Missouri right now. It's the show me state, so show me. All right, fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac, 10 seconds.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. You started pitching at 12. I started pitching at 7, Al Levine, the
Guess
talking
what?
machine. Shoulders still feel pretty.
You're going to have to shut his mic off because when you lie constantly, tell me who your
They called me by the blue.
tell me who your coach was.
I don't know.
Well, guess
But
what?
he was
You
white.
didn't play.
He was white.
Then he ain't right because you don't know who he
I was
is.
the only black kid on the team.
Well, same with Gateway, and you never saw racism, so he's not an honest
Al
man.
Levine, the talking machine. All you hear all the time, and I'm getting this from Tim Worley. What a great
He's a minister now.
player. He's a minister. He was a player back in the day. I had to remind him a few times when I seen him out at the clubs. Him and Derek Hill, I had to remind him a little bit. Al
Hold
Levine, the
it.
talking
What were
machine.
you doing at the clubs?
Oh, I'm still,
you don't even drink.
Well, you don't have to drink as long as there's girls there. But I'm still out till 6 in the morning every night. But Al Levine, the talking
Yeah,
machine.
but what are you doing?
The 89 draft, Johnny B. Good. The 89 draft, that's all you hear. Troy Aikman, Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders, all these great ones
So
from
far,
that
that's
draft.
3. That's 3.
Al Levine, the talking machine, the entire draft. When you turn on the draft Thursday, first thing they're going to say is this is a good draft, but it ain't like the 89 draft. Guess how many Hall of Famers the 89 draft had, Al Levine, the
I'm
talking
waiting.
machine?
Tell me.
I don't know.
They had a total of 5 Hall of Famers. In 74, the Steelers had 5 on their own team. The greatest draft of all time, Al Levine, the talking
No,
machine.
6. They
And
had
the fact-
6.
Yeah.
Donnie Shell was
That's
a
right,
free
6.
agent.
No, that's 5, ain't it?
No, it was 5 before Donnie Shell.
There was 5 before Donnie Shell?
Yeah.
So there's a total of 8 players from that 74 draft in the Hall of Fame. Steelers got 6 of them. I think it was only 5.
Well, I might be wrong. You can question.
And Al Levine,
I
the
like to
talking machine,
embellish a little
the
bit, not
entire
lie.
89 draft only had 5 Hall of Famers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers had that
in
just
one
from
draft.
their team.
So
in
how's
one
that the
draft.
greatest draft?
Thank you, Al Levine. Hey, that's what I said. We got the data man, and we're chasing the facts today. The facts is 74 blows them out, so I don't want to hear
Well,
that.
why were
I'm
you
tired of hearing
calling
that.
everybody saying that's the greatest draft?
Well, I'm trying to build it up, but you almost blew it. You were Einstein only. That's why I was trying to get you off that 74. But
I knew you were going off the reservation.
And that's what's on my mind.
Okay, thank you, Smokin'
You're
Jim.
welcome, brother.
All right, we got 10 seconds. Raging Roadie.
All right, here's the real reason I brought in my laptop. Not a corner. We got to get a tackle. We got to get a bookend tackle.
Whoa.
If we already got one, we're going to move him over to the right, put the new guy on the left-hand side. We're good to go. Good to go. I really think they think Herbig's going to be the guy at center. I know they blow so much smoke this time of year, you never know what's going to happen, but I really think that. I think they'll get a center if any of these tackles. Here's the way I look at it.
Okay.
There's 6, maybe 7 first-round tackles, all right? I'm counting 8 teams that need a tackle. So if teams like the Chargers, the Giants, the Bears, the Jets go elsewhere, receiver, maybe even quarterback, that's going to leave, I'm hoping, either J.C. Latham from Alabama or Amarius Mims from Georgia.
Whoa.
Mims he's only started 8 games. He's probably got the more
6'7".
potential.
6'7".
But J.C. Latham has started 30 games.
Yes, sir.
And he's given up, I think, 2 sacks in 30 games. He
That
is
is-
solid.
thanks
He's ready
for
to
the
play
laptop.
He's ready to play on day 1. So I'm hoping, I'm praying one of those 2 guys are going to be there. They have 4 picks in the top 100. Here's who they're going to be. Latham, I hope Latham. If not, Mims is a backup. Second round, Xavier Leggett, South Carolina. Tall receiver, quick, lot of yards after catch.
One-year wonder.
Yeah, maybe. But I had him as kind of best on the board. Marco found me this draft simulator
All right, with Marco
that I've
We
done
know
on my
Marco's
phone
a stat man.
at least 500 times because I'm a total nerd when it comes to this kind of stuff. So that's the guy I'm seeing around and going to be in the second round of best receiver. Third round, Mason Smith, defensive tackle, LSU. Monster of a man. Got some work to do.
Where are other people rated
badly,
Were they
right around the third round. They
Just
badly
double-checking.
need depth. They got to start turning over some guys in the defensive line. That's a real problem. I'm a big line guy, offensive and defensive line.
Well, I agree with you because we've been talking about that.
And I got him going
Casey
receiver
Hampton.
again.
Think of Casey Hampton.
Yeah.
Find a guy like that.
Yeah, I got him going receiver again in the 4th round with Johnny Wilson out of Florida, big 6'6" guy, real tall, real fast, gets open a lot. Now in the 4th round, I got a sleeper for you, Michael Pratt, quarterback from Tulane. If he's there, he might not be out of the realm for them going after a quarterback like that in the 4th round.
First white player, final.
Because they're going to need
Jim,
something.
Always about race.
They're not the kind of team that
Can't
leaves
stop.
themselves completely uncovered for the next year, right? Right now, they've got neither Wilson nor Fields under contract. I really don't think Fields is going to be back unless something miraculous. Wilson gets hurt, Fields comes in and goes wild. I just don't see that happening. Why would it? I don't think he's a guy to do it. I still think he's going
Pratt's
to.
a bum, but
But 4th round though. He's clearly not even a
round
top,
bum.
first or second, probably like the 3rd round, 3rd tier. He's got a cannon for an arm, that kind of thing. Maybe it's something they
only
can
one that
get
got
to.
a cannon for an arm that may be there in the 4th round is Joe Mixon from Tennessee. He got a cannon for an
Maybe. I
arm.
was even thinking about the kid from South Carolina, Rattler,
Well, if you
but
like
he's
him,
probably
I
going to
don't
be
like
gone.
him. Yeah,
I don't like
him.
anybody above the top 3, to be honest with you. I think J.J. McCarthy, I don't know what everybody is seeing.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't get it. I watched a lot of Michigan
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, I did
the one
too.
game against Penn State, I think they threw the ball twice,
Yeah.
and he only completed 1. It was
I
like a
saw
4-yard
that.
pass.
For his career, he only threw 34 4th-quarter passes and 160 passes
I'm not getting
in
it.
his whole career.
I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, but
not getting
what's his
it.
record, guys?
Oh, he wins. Well, it's because the
No,
team
that's
around him.
because of the
The team around him. I mean, that team was loaded.
Well, here,
Absolutely
go
loaded.
back to Terry Bradshaw in his first Super Bowl. Go back to Ben Roethlisberger in his first Super Bowl.
Loaded team.
So if you got the defense, you can do whatever you want in offense, and then running mattered.
Oh, absolutely.
And Michigan, was there a better team than Michigan running?
I just don't get it. I really don't see what they see. And then Bo
It's
Nix.
good for the Steelers because it's taking
Exactly.
a player off the board.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that
we
even
don't want.
Bo Nix and the kid from Washington get up there ahead of the Steelers.
like
I like Bo
Leave
Nix.
some of those
I
tackles.
like
Oh,
Bo
me and
Nix.
Smoking Jim agree on something.
He's a pure passer, that Bo Nix. But the problem with him is that he can't read a defense.
Yeah.
And that's
He shows good
that's the
leadership
biggest
skill.
thing with you can get. I'll take a guy that doesn't have the best arm but can read a defense.
Yeah.
Right. That's key to playing in
You
the
know
NFL.
he's a coach's son. I think that's a little overrated, and he has to be able to read defense. What I like about Mix is he's a pure leader, natural-born leader, and you can't find
No,
him.
that's a good
That's
point. Those intangibles.
Those quarterbacks that can win over a locker room go a long way.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't get the McCarthy thing. And frankly, I don't get the Jalen Daniels thing either. I think he's talk about a one-year wonder. I think back to who was the Bengals quarterback they took, that one-year wonder?
Splurge and win or somebody
No,
else?
he was an Oregon guy. The other
Yeah, I know you're
Oregon
talking
guy.
about. Yeah, he black quarterback.
Yeah, Achilles Smith.
Achilles Smith.
He had
third
1
pick
year. He
overall.
had 1 year, and everybody said, "Oh, the greatest thing," and he was clueless
If you
in
go
the
back
NFL.
and watch
Absolutely
any Arizona
clueless.
State films, Jalen Daniels was terrible at Arizona State.
He's a one-year guy. Hey, we said the same thing about Pickett, right?
Yeah.
Mediocrity forever, and then
Yes.
came out of nowhere, and that's Jalen Daniels.
Well, 5 years for Kenny to get one good
Yeah,
year.
Van Wilder. He stayed in college for like 26 years.
That's not bad. He's educated, too.
He is educated.
Hey, Smoking Jim, I want to confirm you're right. 1974, Lynn Swan, round 1. Round 2, Jack Lambert. Round 4, Stallworth. Round 5, Mike Webster. and free agent Donnie Shell was 5.
That's
I
insane.
usually am right, but
And that's when they drafted.
time
That's when they
today.
drafted 16 rounds.
First time today.
16 rounds, and
Exactly.
Shell still didn't get picked. He was a
Right.
Hall of Famer. That's
Yeah.
nuts.
middle linebacker at South Carolina State, all-black school. They said he was too. If it wasn't for the strike, he never would have made it because he couldn't catch at that time. He ended up being the leading interceptor for strong safeties in NFL history, but he couldn't cover, and he could just hit. And when they had that strike,
Boy, could he hit, though.
yeah, he was able to show what he could do.
Well, Stallworth
put
went
him
to
on
that
special
went to a
teams.
small school too.
Yeah, yeah.
No one even heard of him till the Senior Bowl. But
Smoking
they
Jim
had that
did.
scout. They had that in.
Well, they had Nunn.
Yeah.
And Stallworth
Bill
never
Nunn,
liked
the
Nunn
legend,
because
Hall of Famer.
Nunn got the film on Stallworth and hid it from all the other teams.
Alabama
Because
A&M.
they knew they didn't have a third-round pick, and they figured Stallworth would go
But
somewhere
why
in the 3rd
didn't
round.
they have one?
I don't
Everybody
know. That's
wants
a
to
good
know.
point. That's a good point.
I got to reach out to Joe Gordon.
You know what? I tell you why they didn't have it.
Tell me.
Who's the guy? Who's the sports writer from Seattle? It was he died recently.
Oh, John
Clayton.
John Clayton.
John Clayton turned him in for
He's a Pittsburgh
for
guy.
wearing equipment out of season, and so they lost their 3rd round.
No
pick.
kidding. How about
Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's why he could never come back. That's why Chuck Noll after that, there was no numbers on the jerseys or nothing.
Oh, that's
you go
right.
to training camp, there was no numbers.
Before my time, but I remember
Yeah.
hearing about
Wow, just imagine if he didn't say
I'm
that.
right again.
I never heard that.
that. I'm glad you
story.
guys didn't cut off his mic. Thank you.
Well, you can see how I'm not in charge. I got to get some of my old-time peeps in here. I'm going to bring Steve into that control room. We'll get him straight.
Steve would have cut my mic off.
I'm going to have to fact check you on that one.
Oh, there you go. All right, we got our special co-host filling in tonight for Nick, who was with lacrosse. So we got Nick is gone and Steve Fisher's in. I gave you plenty of time to think about it. You got something for your segment?
Well, I think I might have something here. After seeing Baldwin pretty much just get defeated, I'm a little bit under the weather
Oh,
for
he's
that.
on my bandwagon.
But they're still going to be the Highlanders no matter what happens. But
Well, yeah,
But
that's in your blood.
that's what's in the blood.
Yeah.
And as Pittsburghers, that's pretty much what we bleed, black
We're
and
loyal.
gold.
We're loyal.
But I will tell you this, what I have to bleed about black and gold, the Pirates. So after all the preseason stuff in Florida, and now that we're getting into the season of the games that are going on here in the MLB, I've been checking in on my MLB scoreboard here and seeing so far, after being at the 4th inning, they're still 1-0 against the Brewers. But fact check me if I'm wrong, as I've checked in about 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
So currently right now, the Pirates are basically
good.
going against the Brewers at this moment.
Right.
But what am I going to talk about here with the Pirates more than anything else? Well,
I don't know.
Well, this year is considerately the 45th anniversary since the last time they've ever gone to the World Cup, to the World Series.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. How many years?
1979.
1979.
How many
Do the
years
math.
is that?
Oh, Gateway. 45.
Gateway, you got to get that math in,
He
right?
said 45 and you missed it.
45.
So that's 2 things that got past
That's a
you.
long time ago.
That's 3 things. He's starting to figure it out.
You just got to use a timeline for that and let the chart speak for itself.
Well, let him get both of his iPhones out to collaborate all that. There's a lot of info. He can't find one, so we're good luck.
What's 1 + 1 on that one, Smoking Jim?
Hold it, Gateway.
Oh,
Don't know.
Whoops, sorry.
Don't
I
know.
spoke too
Carry
soon.
on, Steve. You're on fire here, so go ahead.
So what does this mean for the Pirates? This means 45 years has passed, and we haven't seen much of a big push or move for the team to get back to the World Series again. I mean, we've seen quite some activity in the past decade, even seeing a big team about almost 5 years now, thinking the Chicago Cubs won in over like 100 years. That was a long period of time for them to get
How
back.
about the Red Sox, too?
over,
That was over 100 years.
Wow.
exactly.
The Babe Ruth curse.
Wow.
Then how about Tampa Bay? Look at what they did with our pitchers.
They took them all.
Yeah.
So then we just got McCutchen back at some point, but are fans really that excited to see the big MVP return again?
Yeah, they were, except for Smoking. He got his 300th home run, and he hit his 301st the other day.
Exactly.
And he just got 1,000 singles as a Pirate. So that's what we're talking about, not 3,000 hits. So I'm trying to boost your point up that we're looking for minutia. We're looking for
Motion.
Well, yeah, forward.
Yeah.
We're not getting it.
But the thing about with everything is McCutchen still is being very valued as a great MLB player across the entire league here. But again, being with the Pirates that they haven't won any kind of World Series in many years, our utilization and strategy from management hasn't really been that stellar.
Good point.
Well, they're rebuilding with Cherington and Shelton. And look at what we've done a few times, losing 100 games.
And we had to try to get so many managers. You need a freaking resume to pretty much keep that thing going.
Good point.
Well, I appreciate your opinion. And now you know why I'm disgruntled. I still love baseball. I love the Buccos. I don't wear their gear because I can't get a whole outfit for $20, let alone size 28 shoes. That one's hitting our cameraman, Johnny. So thank you, Steve Fisher.
Thank you very much.
We gotta go to On Location in 10 seconds. On Location, we've done a whole series of Golden Gloves Boxing. Thanks again to Jack Mook, director of Golden Gloves Boxing, hired us to do the semifinals and finals with 23 fights. Ray Schaefer Boxing Association with Jose Carabella hired us and his wife Leah that does the matchmaking. We're going to Cherry City Fire Hall in Millville. We've never been there. I heard it's near the American Legion and the community center there. Great place. We're supposed to do fights on Saturday at 6 o'clock. I'm going to a little event. My KO football coaches that made me who I am by playing football for 4 years, they helped mold my life to make me into the guy I am. I give them credit for all of that, unlike Smoking Jim being the only black guy with all white guys that doesn't know the names except of the head coach. I can tell you my coaches, I'll see them on Saturday. Tony DiPaolo would like to see you on Saturday. He's a big fan.
Yes,
but I'll be at my reunion at 1 o'clock. And then Johnny Mariano is going to drop Michael Mariano off the film, and we're going to have our show at the Cherry City Fire Hall from 6 o'clock till it closes, and we'll be on Facebook Live and we'll be on the YouTube channel. So we're looking for a good day there. We always have great fights, and they're great hosts there. They put on a great show, so I can't wait to do that. We're supposed to be doing a fight in Monsville Prison. Steve has gone with us. He even rode with Smoking Jim there.
Wait, I don't think I ever did go down.
You weren't on the Monsville? I thought you were supposed. I thought you did.
We were supposed to, but then it got canceled.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But I thought you were there one time.
No.
Think back. You got a good memory.
And I work in Wheeling constantly.
Wow. Well, you know Monsville's down a little lower.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit down the Ohio River, but you know.
Oh, I know where you went. Board's Gym in Steubenville in Toronto,
Ohio.
Because you beat us by a half an hour and we left the same time.
In my old clunker Buick against Smoking Jim's driving.
Yeah, we're reminiscing a little bit, but yeah, we cover it. So tune into our boxing on Saturday. That'll be 6 o'clock, Pittsburgh Sportsline Facebook. And it'll be on the YouTube channel, as always, adding up to it with all our boxing. We've had a couple months of great boxing out there, and it usually slows down. Michael's been lucky. He did the last 4 shows with us, including the Donnybrook, and it'll slow down a little bit. We got Monsville, and then throughout the summer, we may get 1 or 2, or by the fall, a boxing show or 2. And don't forget, June 29th, my first MMA event, Coliseum Combat Zone, All-American Fieldhouse, 1 Racket Lane in God's Country, Monroeville. Smoking Jim says he lives there, but I don't know where the heck he lives. I did see a tent village by one of the bridges there, and I thought I saw a white vehicle, but I'm not real sure. But we will see about that. But that's June 29th. We're going to have tickets up for sale in the next couple weeks. We're working on getting fighters. I got about 30, 40 people working with me. We got great lighting. We got studio lighting that they light all the studios in Pittsburgh with all the stations. ProLit Lighting does it. We got a great DJ. We got great sound system. We're going to have lights. We got Cut and Run Productions doing our filming and editing and replay. So we're all set up. You know how I operate. We're trying to sell 1,500 tickets, and we'll give you the prices and all that out there. It's reasonable. There's even a bar and restaurant that's a brand new place. You can eat and drink there and enjoy MMA. We got 18.5 by 10-foot large screens in the first half of the place, and in the back half another screen. So there's 2 screens. Not only will you be right close to the fights, but you'll be able to see everything on the large screen. Wow. So we're setting it up first class. My best friend, Smoking Jim Frazier, he's got a black tie tux with a black top hat, and he'll be in there only doing what Smoking Jim can do. He'll be ring announcing. We've hired Andy Anderson and Brian Marska from Matt Factory and Andy Anderson from Stout Fight Promotions. They're doing our announcing. Smoking Jim and I know MMA, but we don't know about rear naked chokes, takedowns, you know, whatever they do and get out of this move and that move and what they're kicking. So we're not going to announce it. But Smoking Jim will be there for each winner. He's going to introduce each fighter before the fight. So just tune in to hear how he is. You see how I barely keep him under wraps here. And I'm doing my best, but it's a struggle. But I'm giving him free reign as long as he follows our script. Some of that will be scripted. None of this show was scripted, well, except for the cake that came in. It was delicious. Thanks to Diane Rohde, honoring Marco. Thanks to his dad, Michael, for adding a laptop, first time ever. We covered a lot of things. Thanks to Steve Fisher, Johnny Mariano on camera, Chance here on camera, Michael Mariano and Marco in the control room. We appreciate all of you. I think we got about 2 minutes to go, what we're looking at. So I'll open it up. Any other sports? Everybody except Smoking Jim. Go ahead, Steve.
I'm going to have to say this. The ice is melting right now in the NHL for the Penguins.
Whoa, wow. 2 years in a row they lost. You're giving up on them?
I'm not giving up on them, but
just had a check.
That's just a check going right into the glass, you know.
Whoa, I felt that.
So I have to say here, I don't know what's going on with management and leadership here, but those darn Penguins, man.
Here's my point. When you keep a group of superstars together for 18 years, that's a record, but there's a reason why we said it. You can't get other good players to play with them because they take most of the money. So when you get older, I know I've gotten slower. I can't run or play like I was 25 because I'm going to be 68.
Wow.
So age even caught up to me. So what did it do with 36, 37-year-olds? And how about Malkin? He looks like he's in quicksand. But he still can handle a puck. So guess what? Put him on the power play right in front of the net. He got great hands. That's one tip I'll give the Penguins because I'm hopeful.
And that's where we have to keep it there. But I could say that with all like the good players, though, we have Sidney Crosby, who is an MVP
this year again at 36.
But with all the new players going to all the newer teams out there, like the Las Vegas Knights or the Nashville Tigers,
right?
I mean, what are we going to do here for such a good team like the Penguins, who had legends back in the 90s?
Well, here's what happened, and they didn't do it. I said they should have gone into the tank and got the #1 pick because we got it with Mario. We got it with Sid. This would have been the third generation of doing it. And guess what? We didn't do it. We won enough to tease us at the end of the game, and we didn't get to do it.
It's all RNG at this point. Random number generator. You have to just get a player that you get out of a handbasket.
Well, it doesn't work.
And it doesn't.
I've always thought there should be an MVP award and a Best Player award.
Yes.
Great distinction.
Sid is the most valuable player. Whether or not he's the best player is up for debate, but he was the most valuable player.
Here's the only question. It's sort of rhetorical. Without Sid, what would our record have been?
That's my point. That's my point. Exactly.
I co-sign it. On that, I got guys waving me. I'm under pressure. It's so stressful. It's unbelievable. But please stay Joey strong.